Hi, my name's Jonathan Sharp. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director of Britannic Technologies. My presentation is entitled Shifting to Leaner Ways of Working and Unifying Communications for Remote Workers. As I said, things are always changing. I think the term summed up by Heraclitus many years ago, which is change is the only constant in life. And what are we seeing today? So mobile first, and mobile devices, the ubiquity of these. I think there's more mobile devices on the planet than there actually are people. So this has very much become the primary interface that people use. But of course, if we're looking at technology and the growth of the internet, a lot of online services. So people are looking to use they use search engines for finding providers, and of course they're used to self-service tools, whether it be things such as YouTube or going into getting advice from sites such as TripAdvisor, and when they're actually making purchasing and selection decisions. There's been a big shift with technology focusing on consumer types of technology. So we talked before about consumerization of IT, but a lot of the technology that people use in their home lives has really bled over into the business environment. They want to use these things to interact and communicate with suppliers. So we've seen the growth of things like web chat and SMS, and of course social media, and more latterly WhatsApp being used by organizations when they're communicating with end customers and end consumers. What's important as well is the consistency of contact and being able to accommodate choice. And we talked today about omni-channel, and that goes much more than just providing choice. It's also about supporting the ability to pivot and move from one channel to another, actually within a live contact. So I may start off an interaction via a web chat. I may choose to add voice and audio to that interaction. I might want to have somebody guide me through a website, so using co-browsing technology, right up to video interaction. And of course, we've all seen this of late due to COVID, the huge growth in conference calls and video sessions. And this isn't just in the workplace; it's also a great way of unifying friends and family through video tools. And Zoom is one of those organizations that's just grown tremendously over the recent months as a result of people wanting to communicate via video with their friends and family. There's a big focus on customer experience, and I'll talk through this in the presentation as well. And it's looking at the journey that people go through and how they contact the business, the different communication channels, and of course, invariably that front point is through the website. So it's what's the digital journey? How do we enhance it? How do we add appropriate communication interfaces and at the right time and in the right way? It's important to look at the user experience as well. So happy staff generally equals happy customers. So if we can empower people, if we can get to the position where they've got the right tools and they're able to interact with customers at the right time in the right way with the right information, they can certainly focus on delighting those customers and providing improved resolution, so a drive around first call resolution, and actually personalizing the services delivered. There's of course a big change around technology being used to automate. So a lot of talk about AI, but also around robotic process automation, RPA, and process and workflow automation. So we're working with customers to help to leverage a lot of these technologies to deliver some big efficiencies. The technology today really needs to be agile and open. So whether we're looking at starting small and trying a proof of concept, whether we're looking at how do we embrace new technologies and channels, we need to be in a position where it's easy to connect things together. And of course, the continued move to the cloud and the massive rise in home working that we've seen of late. So pre-COVID, some of the things that we were talking to customers about was really the rapid pace of change within technology. And there's a great stat there: 73% of CEOs in Fortune 500 companies were worried about small to medium, agile businesses and startups disrupting their markets and taking their customers. Because a lot of this is about the barriers to entry have been removed through technology. And of course, with bigger, potentially slower moving businesses, as the established market players, these new entrants or agile businesses are coming in and actually creating new service offerings, new approaches to market. They're able to extend and scale a lot quicker because they're using technology to disrupt the way things have always been done. And I'm a firm believer that just because that's the way it's always been done, it doesn't mean to say it's the way it should be done into the future. Of course, what's happened as well alongside this is the terrible global pandemic that we've all seen with COVID-19. So 2020 really has been a year for change. In the UK, a quarter of all companies have been temporarily closed. That's a stat from the Office of National Statistics. 49% of people have been working from home. So that's put huge pressure on customers to rapidly change and actually enable people to be able to work from home. Not all businesses had set these things up prior to COVID, and we were working with many businesses to rapidly pivot and support them in these changes. Many tens of thousands of users we helped within the matter of days to actually rapidly deploy home working solutions. But of course, it goes more than that. It's the impact on the economy. It's the impact upon people's lives as well. So over 9 million people in the UK have been propped up by the UK furlough scheme. There's been a 17% reduction in GDP. That's the figures as of June. So the economy has shrunk. Terrible times for the economy. Terrible times for people's lives as well. But that's going to have big impacts upon how organizations can actually afford to operate. And of course, what we're seeing is a demand. Initially, it was about disaster recovery. We have to respond to this lockdown that happened at the end of March. We have to try and get people working from home that need to work from home. Who's providing critical services and how do we carry on being available? The next piece from there was a lot of different technology that was put in, and it was about how do we, we're potentially in this for the long run, right? And how do we move to a position where we haven't just put a stopgap solution in place? We've actually got something that is a longer term solution that we can run the business on, and we can deliver the same sort of experience to the customers and staff, irrespective of the fact that they're working from home, as we had previously done in the office. So it's then about standardization and using the right tools to operate effectively in this new environment. And very much we believe this, we see this, and we're working with customers to support this, is moving forward with a lot of the pressures, the economic pressures on businesses and headcounts, is actually looking to really introduce optimization of business and lean operating models. So looking at how and where costs can be taken out of running business and serving customers. So alongside this, there's a few areas to look at. If we're embracing this shift, if we recognize that there's a need for change, we have to consider that these digital startups and businesses that are coming at it fresh, they may not have the debts and the legacy that traditional companies have. So if we're going to embrace this shift to survive and thrive into the new economy, then we have to be looking at how do we optimize the experience for remote workers. There's a fair chance that we have to look at how we optimize the work for home workers and remote workers. We're seeing so many large businesses now talking about closing offices or moving to a permanent flexible working environment moving forward, where certain days staff are going to work from home, others they may they may go into the office. But the new normal moving forward is embracing a lot more home working. So it's an area of growth. It's a direction of travel that's going to happen. So it's about what tools do you use to support them, but also how do you manage this distributed workforce as well. Unified communications, continues to grow, and as I said, aspects such as easy collaboration and video have been key to this. To actually bring together not just people within a business, but the partner ecosystem and customers to share information, to have online meetings, has definitely become a key part moving forward. Automating processes. So we've got a lot of great examples. I'll talk through a few shortly of how do you help to streamline the way in which a business works and operates. Well, there are certain interactions and processes that can be automated. Why do things with people if technology can do it? If you've got a limited resource with people due to either the economic position or potentially availability of skilled workforce, don't encumber the staff with things that are repetitive and mundane. Free them up to do things that are actually adding value to the business and to the customers. So process automation has been a big change that we're seeing and helping people with. And of course, great customer experience. In a world where we may have reduced staff and reduced budgets, technology can help us not to compromise on the customer experience that we deliver. So to do this, we've actually generated a number of different technology applications to support these changes. So if we're looking at optimizing remote working, there's a platform that we've created that actually enables you to blend different data and different technology. So it's not just taking information out of the contact center, it's also looking at business data, whether that's finance information, whether it's actions that are generated, whether it's orders that are created. And by blending different data sets together, you're actually able to get a more holistic view around the success and value that employees are actually providing. You know, a very single view of data doesn't give you the full picture. And you know, what we're seeing is the need to change behavior and culture. So if you're going to do this, you're going to have appropriate mechanisms and engagement with staff to be able to support that. Okay, unified communications. We're talking today at UCX, and of course, there's been a big change in the way in which people communicate. We acknowledge this, and it's more than just the phone call and chat and email. It's about being able to quickly have a video call and still have that personal interaction with people, but supporting it now across different devices. It's, you know, we recognize that you know, people aren't fixed to a desk all the time, so being able to move interactions and communication across mobile devices is really important. And it's about providing flexibility, it's about speed, and it's about creating the right environment to bring people together. And certainly I think it's more than just you know, a communication platform. If we're looking at you know, how do we truly unify the way in which we're working, it is about how do we pull information from maybe automated interactions or back office data, and how do we present that? How do you start to make decisions based upon content and context to enable people to personalize the interactions and service that they're delivering? So one way in which we've done that is to integrate different channels into a single pane of glass solution, a unified desktop, so we can pull information from back office data. We can automate certain processes. We could start with an automated interaction and then deliver it into a member of staff with all the previous interactions and context, so they can pick up where the technology left off, but all the time be guiding people, you know, recommending information, serving up data from these different data sources to really drive new levels of improvement in the way in which service is delivered, but also do it in a more cost-effective manner, do it quicker, reduce time. We've done a lot of work around voice automation. So a project we've recently been involved in was looking at streamlining the ID&V process of customers as they were contacting a business, many thousands of contacts a week, and just by shaving 45 seconds off that process, you know, is delivering a big saving to that business. So I think we should be looking at a new dynamic in how we're delivering a unified customer experience. It's not just about communication. It's about having a methodology of being agile, being able to change and amend quickly. It's about a modular technology stack. So as we go, we're adding new things that are actually supporting these changes moving forward. I think it's important to be able to embrace change. You know, change only ever seems to get faster. It's inevitable. So open technology, something that evolves, something that will scale, and the ability to plug in different technologies, communication methods, many of which don't even exist today. You know, the rate of change continues to happen at pace. So we need to be open, agile, and we need to be able to use data and insights to determine how we deliver service into the future. We created a platform called Inbox, and this is really to bring all these different digital interactions together. We can expose them via digital channels, via websites, so actually customers can start to have automated interactions. They can undertake self-service if they so choose. We can triage the messages coming in, we can start to categorize them, and we can then route them to the right people. So this has really helped us deliver some significant streamlining for customers, significant cost savings, and I'll talk through some of those as well. And it's providing the bridge between digital technologies and you know, the digital transformation that so many people talk about today, using AI to review data, review and automate processes, but also to look at how you're serving information and interactions up to people. So using technology to look at the context and the content and route people in the right way at the right time over the right channels to support growth in first contact resolution, which of course improves efficiency. So we've been seeing this trend occurring over the last few years, where there's a number of businesses that are focused on automation and others that have really been focused on personalization and value-added services. Now, of course, today these two important areas can coexist and do coexist. If you want to use the resource that we have and can afford to have due to some of the economic pressures effectively, then if we can use technology to take away mundane, repetitive, high volume interactions that can be well served through automated processes, we're now freeing people up so that when they get a contact, they know what it's about and they can focus on delivering great service and getting it right first time. Focus on understanding the customers and increasing sales and value that's delivered. Frictionless and efficient service, and it's a really interesting dynamic here that if you can look at what customers want, and a lot of this is about self-service, flexibility. They don't want friction, they want first contact resolution. If you can personalize what you're doing, then actually customers feel great. But actually, if you flip side of this is if you're looking at how you support it and you look at how you connect people to the right time, first time, that saves resource in a business. If you can support and extend self-service and automation, it saves resource, it saves money. And of course, more information at the right time in the right way helps to generate greater value for the business and the customer alike. So what's interesting there is that we use technology to reduce costs and streamline, but also improve customer experience, and they very much go hand in hand. And of course, what we do know is that customers are very good at sharing their experiences. A bad experience is easily shared, and with social media, it's shared at greater rates than it's ever been shared. But of course, a good customer experience, people are using this as a drive from a marketing perspective, advocacy, and NPS scores have become incredibly important. People are using things such as TripAdvisor and Trustpilot as very much as marketing messages that they want to put out there. We're great companies to do business with, so they very much go hand in hand. Does it work? Absolutely. We've got some really great success stories. So one example was a world leader in really outsourced services that implemented a solution from us during lockdown. They'd won a very large contract. They were going to be experiencing a lot of inbound contacts as part of the service. And very quickly, we worked with them. We designed the solution using what is an off-the-shelf application. So we configured it for them. And within 5 days of the initial demonstration, the system was live. It was configured and able to handle what was a very large influx of email contacts. But 200,000 emails were handled, and over 150,000 was successfully automated and delivered first contact resolution. So, what a great story. And of course, if you look at it, then providing this service without the automation that we delivered, they'd have struggled to scale the business and the teams, especially with home workers, to be able to meet the demand. So we were able to support them, deliver a service to their customers without actually having to scale up the headcount. So a really great story. A couple of others. So we worked with the council looking at how we could streamline contact into their organisation. So the first one that we picked was questions around bin collection. So they're actually receiving in excess of, I think it's 3,500 inquiries a month about bin collection. When's the bin going to be collected, and is it recycling? Is it household waste? Is it garden waste? And we were able to automate that process for them using an AI chatbot system, and actually reduce the cost of supporting that service by 95%. And since then, they've been able to look at other processes. So this is very much the way we work, which is an iterative process. Look at other processes and add those into that platform. So as you go, you're solving other problems and gaining greater efficiencies. So it becomes a momentum that you build. Another great example, one of Europe's largest construction companies using the technology platform for automated ordering, and in excess of 25,000 transactions have been automated through the platform. And certainly within the first year of running this service, they'd accounted £10 million worth of saving as a result of the automation that we delivered. And finally, another recent example was a leading university that were looking to implement a cloud contact center solution with us to improve student engagement, but also it became to accommodate some of the challenges that they were going to have around clearing during a global pandemic. Clearing is such an important aspect for universities. Each university place, each student, their fees are 27,000 over 3 years. So you can imagine the scale of the thousands of placements multiplied by £27,000. So we built the system, we'd integrated into the CRM platform, and importantly, we were working with them to look at the change of student demographics and expectations around communication. I have children of that age who, they'd much rather communicate over social channels or WhatsApp than actually pick the phone up. So it's a direction of travel that we're definitely seeing. So we're able to unify these channels into a single interface, and actually from a platform being a position to support home workers. And it was over 450 staff working from home during a global pandemic, and they had an incredibly successful clearing process. They were able to achieve their targets under what was extreme pressure, handling very, very large volumes of interactions. And it was interesting to see that the volume of WhatsApp interactions that they handled. So, once again, pointing to the direction of travel. So another customer that we recently helped was Mercury Holidays. So they were getting a lot of emails in from airlines, and they were having people sat there reading them, working out what to do with them, forwarding them on to customers or forwarding them to different staff. And they came to us with that as a problem. We'd love to be in a position where we can improve the efficiency of how we handle these email alerts. So we worked with them. We again took this off-the-shelf technology. We configured it with them so that they were able to get the messages coming in. The system would automatically read, review, respond, route, and actually vastly reduce the number of people needed to actually deal with those types of messages and inquiries. Now, of course, what happened after that system had been in, it was working well. It was helping them to improve the customer experience. But they then had this massive challenge that was right across the whole travel sector of we need to repatriate customers. We need to be in a position of dealing with all these the uncertainty and questions around future holidays. And they were able to very quickly scale this platform and use it to deal with what was the unforeseen of a global pandemic. So I think if we're looking at streamlining, yes, most definitely, people working from home, we're seeing it. Businesses starting to relinquish office space. Why pay for office space if people are going to work from home? Do you need as much as you used to? Can we have hot desking environments for people when they're in, and blend that with home working? And that definitely seems to be a direction of travel that many businesses are going through. So there's a great cost saving that can be achieved there. There's potentially what we're going to see, which is the reworking of some of the headcount due to furlough being closed and unemployment unfortunately growing, so less people available. So we do need to use technology to try and augment the people, the human resource that we have. If we look at the cost of people interacting around transactional contact, it's very high. Whereas if we use technology to automate and interact, there's significant cost savings that can be achieved. So that the economic position, the financial argument really speaks for itself. But it isn't about replacing people. It's about augmenting them. It's about doing things that technology can do very well. And then if and when required, connecting people together to benefit from the value that people can deliver. So we're considering these changes. I think it's important to get buy-in. So culture is really important, but it's also important to get started. Don't put these things off. This is something that is happening en masse at scale, and businesses are redesigning how they're working. They're looking at their operating models, they're looking at their cost structures, and they're looking at how they service customers. Things are changing, and they're changing at pace. Be flexible, be agile in the approach, be ready to adapt and change, involve users, seek the input from people, and of course plan to scale. If we're starting off with a pilot or a proof of concept, cloud openness and scalability are really important. So be in a position where you pick the right technology the right partner, so that as you're ready to go and you're getting the success, you can carry on scaling without struggles. And a good place to start, there's a lot of processes and interactions that have really been established over a long period of time. So if we want to move to leaner operating models and processes and streamline what we're doing, first of all, let's get the vision. How are we going to do things differently? What could we start to automate? How's it going to benefit the business itself? And importantly, how's it going to benefit the customers? So what we then do is we look at, there's so much data available, so we look at areas of high interaction, and what could be automated. And there's many different things, problems that can be solved, and processes that can be automated or augmented through technology. So pick one, work it out, make a start, get going, see the benefit, use that momentum to improve, and focus on the customer. They're the lifeblood of our business, and the people within it, the users. How can we do things that actually empower people and make their lives better, as opposed to some of what we've experienced in the past, that technology has actually hindered the service that's been delivered or the experience that customers have had. It shouldn't be computer says no. It should be technology is there to augment, support, and help you delight and engage people. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you found it interesting. If you've got any questions, love to talk to you. We've got so many examples of how we're helping businesses today to reimagine, to streamline their operations and their customer interaction, to save money, but also to deliver new levels of customer interaction and customer experience. My colleague Gillian Ide is running also a session from Britannic, which will include some live demonstrations. So please do, if you have the time, drop in and see some of this technology in action. Thank you.